In real-world Python projects, we never write everything into one file. We split code into modules to keep it clean, reusable, and scalable. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Wish Infinite. And before proceeding further, I would like to inform you that you can now support my YouTube channel, and for that you can go to my channel Wish Infinite and then click onto this join button. You can unlock exclusive perks while helping the channel grow. Your support means a lot. And a big thank you to everyone who has taken channel membership. As a token of appreciation, members can see their YouTube profile pictures featured randomly on channel homepage here. Also, you can access this complete AI engineering course under playlist tab here. Feel free to save this playlist by clicking onto this save button for quick access in your YouTube playlist section. Now let's proceed further. So what is a module? A module is simply a Python file that contains code such as functions, variables, or classes. What are classes that we have not seen yet? For now, we would be mainly focusing on to the functions and variables, right? In short, I will just tell you. So usually what we do, we create a Python file and then inside that we put functions and variables. But in case of classes, we would be putting our functions inside classes. And we call such functions as methods. For now, you need not to be worried about classes. Now, modules helps you organize your code into smaller parts instead of writing everything in one place. Modules make your code reusable, readable, and easier to maintain. In short, till now we were putting all of our code in a single file. Now let's first see how to create a module. So for that, let's go to VS Code. Here, let me put all these old files inside one archive folder. Let's create a folder and let me move all these old files. I'm just moving these files so the structure would be little clean and it would be easy for you to understand this concept. Let's move them. Now let me create one module, and for that I'm going to take example of calculator where we can add, subtract, multiply or divide two numbers. So for that I will be creating one file with the name calculator.py. Here we need to create a Python file, right? So for that the extension would be py. I'm not using notebook file, that you need to note, right? I'm creating a Python file that we would be using as module. So let's create one new file and here let's give its name as calculator.py. Now here let me create some functions. How to create a function that we have already seen, right? For that we would be using this def. Then the function name. Here I am giving the function name as add. And then opening and closing of round parenthesis. Then here I am putting colon, hit enter, and after one tab indentation, we would be just printing addition of two numbers. And these numbers we would be taking while calling the function. So for that we will have to put parameters here. So a comma b. You can put any parameter name here. And now let's print addition of these two numbers. So for that we would be using print and then a plus b. You can create more complex function. For now, just to make it simple, I am creating functions like this where we are just printing calculation. Now similarly, let's create subtract, multiply and division. Let me do that quickly. So def subtract, opening and closing of round parenthesis, a comma b as parameter, colon, hit enter, after one tab indentation, print and then a minus b. That's it. Now let's create one function for multiply. Let's hit enter, def multiply, opening and closing of round parenthesis, then a comma b, colon, hit enter, and again let's print a multiply by b. So a into b. About all these arithmetic operations also we have already talked into previous video. Now let's create one more function for division. So def divide, opening and closing of round parenthesis, a comma b as parameter, colon, and inside it after one tab indentation we will print a divided by b. For now I'm not creating complex function. You can perform more calculation. You can put more messages, right? So it's totally up to you. For now these simple functions are enough. And here I will put some variables also so that we can try to access those variables. We would not be using those variables directly here inside this file, but just for your learning purpose I am creating two variables. So here I will put num1 equals to, and let's put value as 45. Let's create one more variable, num2 equals to 9. For now we are not using it, but we will try to access these variables also into another file. And as I told, for now we are going to focus on to functions and variables. We would not be seeing example for the classes. Later once we will learn classes, at the time we will be seeing that how to import classes, how to use them. For now you need not to worry about it. So now this is our Python file where we have put some functions and variables, and now this file is our module. we would be reusing its items, which are functions, methods, classes, into any other file. So let's see how to do that. So to use modules, we would be using import. So what is import? So to use code from another file, Python provides the import feature. Import allows one file to access functions, variables, or logic written in another file. This avoids duplication and helps in building scalable applications. So in short, module is a file which is containing different functions, variables, and classes. And when we want to use these items into any other file, so in that case, we would be using import feature, where we use import keyword to import items from another Python file, which is module. Now our module is ready, which is a Python file which we just created. Now let's see how to use import. So there are different ways to use import. Here Python provides different ways to import modules depending on your use case. First way is by importing full module. It is used when you want to access multiple functions, variables, and keep clarity. And here is the syntax. For that we would be using import keyword and then the module name. What is module name? So it is simply a Python file which we just created, right? Whatever the file name which you give will be your module name. So in this case it is calculator. You can give any file name here, that would be your module name. You just need to give meaningful names, right? Now let's create one more file. And here either you can create Python file or you can use notebook file. It's totally up to you. While creating this module, we need to use .py file only. But while using it, we can use it anywhere, right? It can be .py file or it can be .ipynb, which is notebook file. For now, I'm creating notebook file, but it's totally up to you. If you want to use Python file, so as an assignment, you can try it with that .py file. Now here let's create one notebook file with the name module import practice.ipynb. You can give any name. Just we are doing practice for module and import. That's why I'm giving such name. Let's click onto this new file. And here let's give name as module underscore import.ipynb. That's it. Here you can give any file name. Now here let's click onto this code, which will give us one code cell. Now here what we want to do, we want to use this particular import, which means we want to access its functions, variables, and if you are creating classes, so we want to access classes also. For now, don't worry about classes. So to use this particular module, what we need to do, we need to import this module. So for that, we need to use this import keyword. So import space, and here we need to provide module name. What is module name? Module name is the file name which we just created. Here we have given the file name as calculator. So let's give name as calculator. So now we have imported this calculator module. And now we can access its items. Items, when I'm saying, we can access its functions and variables which we just created. So for that, what we need to do? So for that, we would be using this particular module name, which is calculator. You can copy paste it or you can type it, right? It's totally up to you. So calculator dot, and now we want to use add function. So after this dot, we need to provide add, which is our function name which we created here, right? So you need to use the same name. And here we need to pass two arguments for these parameters. So let's add two numbers like 20, 30. I'm not using print statement here because we are using print inside functions itself. We are not returning it. We are just printing it. Now let's execute this particular code cell. Let's click onto this execute cell and see we have got 50, which is addition of these two numbers. And how we got the addition? Because we imported this module and then we call this function with these two parameters, which are 20 and 30. So here it will call this particular function where value of a is 20 and value of b is 30, which we have passed. And here we are just printing addition of a plus b, which is 20 plus 30. And in the same pattern, we can also try to access variables. So for that, we will have to provide the module name. So let's provide calculator here dot num1. Now let's click onto this execute cell and see this 50 is printing because of this addition, and this 45 is value of this num1. Like this, you can access any variables, any methods, or any classes. So this is first way to import module. Now let's talk about second way, which is alias import. It is used to shorten long module name and improve code readability. So here we are going to use this import statement only with the module name. But here, rather than using whole module name, we would be providing alias name, which we would be using on place of module name. Here is the syntax. We would be using this import keyword, then the module name. After that, we need to provide this as and then alias name. Let's see the practical example. Let's go to VS Code. Here, let me add one more code cell. Let's click onto this code. And here, rather than directly using this import statement, we would be using alias. So for that, we need to use this import and then the module name, which is calculator. Rather than using this calculator module name, we would be providing alias. So for that, we need to provide as and here we can provide any alias. Let's provide cal. You can provide A, B, C, D, anything, right? It should be meaningful and it should be short. Let's say if you are having very long module name, like calculator for 2 numbers. So in that case, rather than using long module names, we can provide alias like this, and then we can use this particular alias on place of this whole module name. So previously we were using this whole module name, but now we can use this alias. And how to use that? So simply we need to provide this alias name, which is cal. Any name you can give, right? Whatever the name you are giving here, you need to provide same name here while using it. So cal dot, and here let's try to access this subtract, and then opening and closing of round parenthesis, and here let's try to subtract 50, which is number A, then comma, and minus we want to do it with 20. So we are calculating 50 minus 20. And now let's click on to this execute cell and see we have got 30. And here we have not used this module name, right? Like this. We have just used this alias, and by using this particular alias, we can access functions, variables, and classes. Let's try to access num2 variable also. So for that we need to provide cal dot and then just the variable name, which is num2. It is not function. If we are calling function, in that case we need to provide the function name and then opening and closing of round parenthesis. To access variables, you just need to provide the variable name. Now let's click on to this execute cell, which should give us 30 for this subtraction, because we are printing subtraction here inside this particular function, and then we just want to check value of num2. Now let's click on to this execute cell and see we have got 30 for this subtraction and 9 for this particular num2. Now there is one more third way, which is specific import, where we can import specific items. It is used when you only need a particular function or variable. And this is the syntax where we would be using from, this f will be small, then module name, and after that we would be using this import keyword, and here we can mention all the functions, variables which we want to import. So at the starting we did not use import statement. What we are saying that we want to import different functions from this particular module, right? They did like this. Import these functions from our module, which is our file name. Now let's see the practical example. Let's go to VS Code. Here let me add one more code cell. So here consider one scenario. Let's say you are having one module, which is one Python file, right? And here you are having 10 or 20 different functions, classes, or variables. Now rather than importing whole module, we would be just importing what we want to use. Let's say we just want to use multiply, divide, and this num2. So in that case, we can specifically mention that we want to import these items. Now let's see how to do that. Let's go to this notebook file, and here let's provide this syntax. So here we need to provide from, and then the module name, which is calculator, this one. After that we need to provide import keyword, and here we can mention that what exactly we want to import. So rather than importing everything like this, we would be just mentioning that we want to import a specific function or variable. So for that, what we need to do, we need to provide functions and variables name here. So here, as I told, we want to use multiply and divide. So let's provide that here. Automatically this ID is suggesting us. Here let's provide multiply, comma, divide. And also let's try to access this num2. So after this also we need to provide comma and then num2. So whatever we want to import, we need to provide its name, and then we need to put comma to provide second item name which we want to import. And like this you can import multiple items. Now we can use these items, which are functions and variables, directly. So in this case we will not have to use module name or the alias name. We would be directly providing these imported items name. Let's see that. So for that, let's use this multiply, and as this is a function, we will be providing opening and closing of round parenthesis. And here let's try to multiply 2 with 3. So 2, and then second argument, after providing comma, we need to provide 3. Now let's click onto this execute cell and see we have got 6, which is 2 into 3. Similarly, let's try to access divide. So for that, directly we need to provide this divide, right, which we have imported. So divide, and then opening and closing of round parenthesis, and here let's try to divide 20 by 4. So 20 is first argument, comma, and value of b is 4, and here we should get output as 5. So first output we would be getting as 6, which is 2 into 3, and second output we would be seeing as 2 divided by 4, which is 5. Let's click onto this execute cell and see we have got 6 for the multiplication and 5 for the division. All these arithmetic operation I've already explained. So if you have not watched that video, you can go to the playlist and watch the specific video related to the arithmetic operations. Now let's quickly try to access this num2 also. How to access it? So for that, you'll have to just simply provide this num2. If you want to use the print statement, you can provide print and there between opening and closing of round parentheses, you can provide num2. For now, as we are using notebook, we can directly provide it. Now let's click on to execute cell and see we have got 6 for the multiply, 5 for the divide, and 9 for num2, right? Value of num2 is 9. And now one more thing, if you have noticed that we have got this particular folder created here. This folder's name is underscore underscore pycache underscore underscore. And now if you will expand it, you would be able to see one file. So file name is module name which we have created dot cpython-314.pyc. You need not to be much worried about this particular file. It is automatically getting generated because we are using this particular module. This particular file is compiled bytecode Python file. You should be aware about this particular name. It will automatically get generated. What is inside this file, that you need not to be worried, right? If you will delete this pycache folder or file inside it, again once you will execute the code, this folder and file will automatically get generated. Let me just quickly show that to you. Let me remove it. Now let me restart this kernel so everything is reset. And now let's execute this piece of code. And see, again it generated this pycache folder with the same file name .pyc. For now, do not worry about it. I just wanted you to be aware about it. Now there is one more thing to add. There can be the case that you are creating modules inside some folder. Let me create one folder. Let's click here and let's give the folder name as utils. You can give any folder name, right? For the utility, I'm just giving name as utils. You can give XYZ, ABC, any name, right? It should be meaningful. And here let's copy this same file, which is calculator.py. I will rename it with calculator2. I'm not creating this file just to save the time. Now let's paste this file inside this utils folder. And now let's rename it as calculator2. So calculator2. So our file name is calculator2.py. So in this case, what would be our module name? Just guess it. It will be calculator2, right? Same as file name. Now let's try to use this module. Here if you want to make any change, that you can make. Let's change value of this num1 to 100 and let's put num2 as 999. I'm just putting some difference so that you would be able to identify, right? This is our calculator2. Now let's try to use this calculator2. Let's use that inside this file only, which is modules underscore import.ipynb. And it is not like that you can import these modules inside one file only. You can create n number of files. Let's say you are creating 5 files, and in that you can import different items or home modules in multiple files. For now, let's use the single file only. Let's add one more code cell. And here, as we want to access this calculator2, so how to access it? For that same thing, we need to provide import. And here we cannot provide calculator2 directly. We can provide this calculator, but we cannot provide calculator2. See here we are getting error. Calculator2 is not accessed. So now how to access it? So in that case, we will have to provide the folder name dot the module name. So in that case, we will have to provide the folder name where we are putting it. So here we can provide this utils. Let's provide it. And after this utils, which is this folder name, we need to provide dot and then the module name. So what is module name? So the file which we have created inside this folder is our module, which is calculator2 in this case. Like this, there can be multiple files inside one folder. So you can provide a specific file name here, which is our module. Here let's use this calculator2. And here we will use one alias for this as cal2. Now we can use this cal2. So for that we can provide this cal2 dot, and here let's use this add function. So add 2, 2, where a is 2 and b is 2. So we are adding these two numbers, which will be 4. Let's click onto this execute cell and see we have got 4. And here if you have noticed, again this pycache folder got created. And now this time it got created inside this utils folder because there only our module was existing, right? Inside the utils folder. So same folder, this pycache got created inside the utils folder with this file name, which is calculator2, which is our module name, .cppython_314.pyc. This extension would be pyc for the bytecode files. And here we are using this alias. But you can also use this utils.calculator2 on place of this cal2 dot function name or the variable name or the class name. But here, just to make it simple and short, we are using this alias. That's what use of alias, right? Rather than using this long name, we are making it short. Similarly, we can try to access variables also. For that, cal2 dot num2. Any variable name you can access. Now let's click onto this execute cell and see we have got 4 for this addition and 999 for this variable which is num2. And as an assignment, you can also try to access specific items when module is there inside subfolder. So here, rather than accessing all the items, you need to just access 2 items like multiply or divide. So how will you do that? And here you need to use this calculator 2 module. So that is your assignment. Just write and just let me know into the comment section that's what you wrote. I'm just giving you one hint that is going to be very easy. You'll have to use the similar syntax, but rather than providing module name directly, you'll have to use the folder name also. How you need to do that? Let you try and let me know into the comments. So till now we created the module and then we used it. But similarly, Python also provides built-in modules. So Python comes with many built-in modules that provide ready-to-use functionality. These modules help you perform tasks like mathematical operations, generating random values, working with dates and more. This means you don't always need to write everything from scratch. You would be using built-in modules, right? So when you are using built-in modules, you can use different items which are there inside those modules. And all those things are pre-created. You will not have to write those things. Let's see some example for that. Let's go to VS Code. And here let me add one code cell. So first question is that how will you get the module name? For now, let me just tell you one module which is very basic module which is math. How to use that? For that you need to use this import statement. And after that what we need to provide? We need to provide the module name which is math. This one. See, we are not getting any error. We have not created any file with the name math.py because it is built-in module. And now how to use its items. So previously we created calculator 2. So it was having multiple items, right? That we were able to see here. What about math? So math is also having different items. One of its function is sqrt, which is used to provide square root of a number. Let's see how to use that. So for that we need to provide this module name which is math dot and then the function name is sqrt and then opening and closing of round parenthesis, and here let's provide 16 and its square root will be 4. 4 into 4 which is 16. It returns the square root of x. X is the number which we are providing here. Now let's click on to execute cell and see we have got 4. And as I told, we can also try to access variables. For that let's provide this module name which is math dot and let's try to access one variable which is pi, which will give us value of pi. Let's execute this cell and see we have got 3.141, right, which is value of pi. And like this you can access any of the items from this particular module which is math. What are the different items which are there inside this math? So for that what you can do, you can just provide this dir and then this module name which is math, which we have imported, right? Same name you need to provide. You can also provide alias and then use it, but for now this name is short, so we are directly using it. Let's click on to execute cell and see we are able to see list of items which are there inside this math module. You can click onto this scrollable element if you are using notebook, so that you would be able to see all the items which are there inside this math module. Like we have the seal to get the seal value, we have floor, and like this we are having math related functions, variables, right? So you can use it. And this thing is provided by Python. We have not written the code to provide the square root. We are able to use it directly. You can try to use different items. And similar to math, we have one more module which is random. Let's try to use that also. Let me add one more code cell. Here let's provide import. And like math, we have one more module which is random. Let's use that. For that you can use one more code cell or you can use it here also. How to use that? For that you need to provide this import and then the module name. So module name is random, this one. And now let's use it. So here we need to provide this random which is our module name dot and here it is having multiple items. For now I'm going to use this random and then opening and closing of parenthesis, and here you need to provide a and b. So what this random do? It returns random integer in the range a comma b, right? So between a and b we will be able to get an integer. Here it is including both the endpointer. So let's say you provide 1 and 5, so we can get any number between 1 and 5 including that. Let's provide 1 comma 10 here. Now let's click onto this execute cell and see we have got 9. And every time when you will be executing it, you will be getting a random number between 1 to 10. Let's execute it multiple times. We have got 3, 5, 6, 4, 7, 2, and like this you can get any number, right? We have got 10 also in between. So this is some of the examples of built-in modules. Like that you can have multiple built-in modules. And now question is that how will you get to know that what are different modules which are built-in and you can use it directly. As you are a new user, you must not be aware about all the modules, right, which you can use. So where you will be able to see it. So for that you can simply go to Google. Let me go there, and there you can search for this Python module index. So here let me search it, Python module index, hit enter, and now you need to click onto this particular link. See here name is appearing, Python module index. Click here and see here you would be able to get whole list of all the modules which is provided by Python. Here you can sort it on the basis of alphabets also. Let me click onto this M. There we would be able to see this math module. Similarly, we saw this random module. For that you can go to this R section. Let's click here and see we have this random module. Here you would be able to see small description related to that particular module. That's what this module is doing. Here you can click onto any of the module to see more details related to it. Here let me click onto this random module. Here we would be able to see details related to its functions, variables and classes. You would also be able to see examples related to its different items. And like this you can click onto any of the module and see details related to it. So as a practice, if you want to use any of these modules, just try to use it and try to call different methods, variables, right? And see what is happening. For now, I cannot cover all these modules, right? There are multiple of modules, right? You'll have to go through them. And it is not necessary that you should be aware of all the modules, that what these modules do, right? But whenever you are performing any action, right? Whenever you are writing any code, so in that case, you can search it that if you are having any such module for your functionality which you want to perform, in that case, you can use the specific module. And guys, if you're finding this playlist helpful, let me know into the comment section below and feel free to share your suggestions. I would love to hear your thoughts. And now I will conclude this video here, but before we wrap up, let me give you a quick recap. So here what we saw, that module is simply a Python file where we can put functions, variables and classes, and then we can use those modules by using the import keyword, and then we can simply use its functions, variables and classes. The module is nothing but a Python file which we can use at different places. We can use modules into multiple files. Now there are different ways to use this. So for that, let's go to VS Code and there we would be able to see it properly. So here we can directly provide this import and then the module name, and by using that module name we can call different items for that particular module like this. We need to provide the module name dot and then the item name. Here we are using add method. Variable name here, right, we are using after the dot. Similarly, we can provide alias also. So rather than using long module name, we can simply provide a short alias name which we can use on place of module name. Like here we have provided this import, then the module name as alias name which is cal. You can give any name here for this alias. And then we can use this alias to access different items. Like here we have accessed this subtract method num2 variable, and after that we saw that we can import specific items. So for that we will have to use this particular syntax, which is from module name import the specific item. So you can read it like this: import these items like multiply, divide, num2, any item you can import. So import these items from this particular module, which is calculator, right? This is our module name. Now we can directly use these items which we have imported. It can be variable, it can be method, it can be class name directly, right? Here we are using directly without this dot. After that, we saw that if your module file is inside any subfolder, so in that case, what you need to do? So this is our project folder, and inside it, we are having this particular module file. And inside it, we are having one folder which is utils, or any folder name can be there. And inside it, we are having our module file. So in that case, how to use it? So this is the file where we want to use it, right? Which is directly here inside the project folder. But this module file is there inside this folder. It can be any folder name, right? And here we are having this calculator too. So how we accessed it? So for that, we need to use this import only. Then we need to provide the folder name dot module name, or the file name you can say. And here we are using alias. Otherwise, we will have to use this name every time, which is utils.calculator2. So rather than using this long expression, we are providing this alias. So by using this alias, we can use items for this particular module now. Here we have used add num2, and like this, you can access any of the items. And as an assignment, you need to use this particular concept here, where you would be importing specific items from this calculator2 module, which is there inside one subfolder, which is utils. After that, we also saw built-in modules. So these are the modules which are provided by Python. We can directly use it. We need not to write logic related to them. Here we saw that we can use this math module where we can access different items related to it. Like here we have used this square root function. We access this pi. We also saw that by using this dir and then the module name, you can see list of items which are there inside the specific module. You can provide any module name here. Similarly, we try to use this random module. So for that, we need to provide import random, and then we can use this module name dot the item name which we want to access. So in short, you just need to provide import and then the built-in module name. And here also you can use alias. So rather than using this name, you can provide import random as r, and you can use r at any place on place of random. Apart from that, you can also try to access specific items from these built-in modules. That is also you can consider as assignment, and try to access specific items from these built-in modules also. Right? Same concept is going to be there, which I've already shown you, that you can implement. And guys, modules are not just functions. They help share data across your application. And we would be using this particular concept multiple times, right? So you should be aware about it. If you are confused at any place, you do your practice. In case of any doubt, just let me know into the comment section below. And now that's it from my end. You can click onto this first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access this whole AI engineering course. And stay tuned for my upcoming videos. If you have any comments, questions or doubts, you can let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.